Hello. Developing your own sound as a producer, in my opinion, is super critical to the mission here. And that is to create a distinctive personality in your productions. And I like Reason because it allows you to create your own synthesizer patches, effect patches, and not need to be a super sound designer. You can be a very basic sound designer, somebody who just likes to layer up effects and devices and not need to know all about ADSR envelopes and filters and all the really heavy duty stuff. So let me show you how I do it in Reason, and this is the way I develop patches in Reason that I use in my productions, that I recycle in my productions, and you can hear it in a lot of my work. So the first thing I start with here is open up a Combinator, because this will allow me to start loading it up with devices and save my patch. So there's my Combinator, and I begin by inserting a 6x2 line mixer. And then I always put a parallel effect on it. I leave parallel effects like reverb to my main mixer, but some sort of fattening agent is nice to have on here. So I will insert something like a phaser or chorus, either a chorus, a phaser, or unison usually. I'll stick with phaser this time. Scoot this up to the top here. And then we can start layering in some sounds. I think I'll develop like a nice fat bass sound here. And the first thing I'll do is grab an instrument. I'm going to start off with one of my favorite new instruments, the Korg Poly 6. Definitely one of my favorites right now. I used to have one of these when I was much younger, and it's great to have it in virtual land here. And I'll play that. I actually kind of like that sound, but let's see what other bass sounds I have in here. Korg Poly 6. I think I'll start with that. It's a nice edgy sound. And next I will insert a Maelstrom for some grunginess. And I think I'll go for the wobble bass. That sounded pretty evil. And how about a nice subtractor sound now? There we go. You can see the sound's already getting thicker already. Let's go into my bass sounds here. How about the alt wobbler? That's cool. I'll go for that. Okay. So I've got 3 sounds layered up here. And I can do a little bit of work with the panning, adjust my levels here, what I want. I want that Korg up a little louder. And then I can play with pannings here. I think I'll put the wobble on one side, the 2 wobbles on one side, and leave the Korg up front and center there. So you can see here that the sound is getting more and more complex here. And then there is an effect using the Scream device, which I really like, which is a warm saturation effect, and it sort of blends everything together. And I'll take advantage of the auto routing here, where I will select the line mixer, and you can see the line mixer's already got lots of things plugged in, including the sends. So now when I create a Scream for distortion, it will automatically insert between the line mixer and the Combi's output. There it is. This adds some distortion. And that's cool, but I actually want this nice fat warm tape effect. I believe it's in warm saturation here, and the 1/2 inch. That's nice, I like that. You can see that all of the devices work now with the mod wheel. As I change the mod wheel on my controller, all the mod wheels are working here, which gives it a nice edge to it. And then I think I want a little bit edgier sound here, so I like what the Scream is doing in terms of blending it together, but I'm going to use this trick that I learned from Lucky Date. I got to give him credit for this. The BV512 vocoder to kind of downsample the sound. So again, I'm going to take advantage of the auto routing. I'll select the Scream, and then I will create the BV512. There it is. And then if you put this into the EQ mode and you dumb down the EQ to just 4 fat bands, and then you turn them all up, it gets really grungy sounding. And you can adjust the tone with the shift knob here. That's getting pretty huge, and it's also getting pretty loud. And I think the next thing I want to do is get control of the dynamics. So I can simply insert a compressor, M-class compressor, on the last device here. And again, I'm taking advantage of the auto routing. So there's the vocoder, and then I will insert the compressor, Studio Effects, M-class compressor. Put that on top of there. So that tames that sound down, gets some compression action there. Decide how much I want. Down my threshold. I think I want to hit it pretty hard, and I can do a little makeup gain. I can hear that my right side is getting a little weak there, so I can simply turn this up here. And then I usually like to go through and check my pitch bend on all the devices in case I want to throw some pitch bends in there. I need to make sure that they're all set to the same amount of steps for the pitch bend. Otherwise, it's going to be bending at different ranges, and then I get some pretty nasty sounds. So you can see that that pitch bend is set to 12, 12, and the pitch bend for my Korg, the Korg pitch bend, there it is, it's set to 2, so that's going to cause some problems. So let's turn it up to 12 as well, and everybody should bend at the same rate now. Very cool. And that sounds pretty nice. If I want to swap out some devices here, I can always do that for each production, and I can go ahead and save this patch here. And there it is. And that's how I can very quickly develop any sound. You can imagine how far you can take this, whether it's for chords, whether it's for bass lines, whether it's for Rex loops, whatever you want. Just start stacking things up. It's like object-oriented programming, plugging things in, save your patch if you like it. You can use it in another production. The possibilities don't end. Fun with reason.